So long story short, this is how I ended at Via Africa, and as a key account manager, and I'm now with Via Africa for 6 years, and that's my journey.
Vincent, welcome.
Yes.
to Careers Exposed. Hopefully, man, you had a good day. How you feeling?
I'm happy to be here.
Who is Vincent? Name, surname. What do you do?
Vincent Fraser. I currently am a key account manager at a Media 24 company called Via Africa, and we basically an educational publishing company.
How did your journey start, man?
I'm from the Eastern Cape originally, from Port Elizabeth. Growing up in Garvendale, I mean, those are one of the places that if you must go to PE now, people will tell you, pass Garvendale. They'll tell you, don't go visit Garvendale, pass. So that's where I come from. It's notorious. It's very notorious.
Oh,
so, yeah, as a child, I grew up in a 2-roomed house, which was about 9 meters by 9 meters, 6 meters by 6 meters. It was a kitchen and a bedroom. We were 6, so 4 kids and 2 parents living in 1 bedroom, and then we had a kitchen and an outside toilet until I was about 8, and then we moved to, to a much richer area, and that is only because the toilet was inside. It was still a 1-bedroom, still a 1-bedroom house, and I felt rich. And that's basically where I grew up until I got married and moved out. At school, I had no ambition. I was very naughty. I got caught up in street activities. So education was never really in my mind. It was in standard 8, grade 10, I was going to drop out and just try and live life and do things, and
Sure.
I had a turnaround in my life in standard 9 where I failed dismally. 537 out of 2,200. It changed my life because it was very embarrassing. There were 4 of us who failed, and I was the only one who came back. And obviously, you come back to your normal class, and then you must get up. And then when you pass, you go to the next, to go to matric. And I had to sit there. And that was the moment that changed for me. I hated that feeling of feeling like a failure. And because I wasn't academically strong, remember, I grew up with the odds against me. I mean, that's why I was naughty as a kid. And I knew I wasn't clever academically, but what I knew was that I could be hardworking. So I started studying the beginning of the year. I started with a study group with other learners, peers who were much more clever than me academically. And I started studying from February, and I came tops. I came tops that year, started 9 second time. Curriculum changed, I came tops, and since then I had the drive for success. So I always came top. I came top in matric as well. After matric, there was we were then 6 children. A mother and a father, nobody working in the house, all odds stacked up against me again. No vision for where I wanted to go. I eventually got into Port Elizabeth Technikon, which is now known as Nelson Mandela Bay University. So what I would do is I would learn. I would go home, go through what we did for the day, and learn what we're going to do the next day. So I always knew what was, so I had a drive in me. And when I was at varsity, I actually started excelling.
Yeah.
And it was very difficult and tough. Can you imagine getting up every single day and having to go so far to university? It was difficult with no money. And I had to hitchhike at times. There are times I had to walk. If I can compare it to Cape Town, is walking from Cavendish to past Muizenberg, or even that way around Strandfontein.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I had to walk. Sometimes I had to walk home that time. And in my last year, my wife now, it was my girlfriend, she was working, so she could pay for my final year.
Yeah.
And there were times that I got stuck in town in PE at night, because I did the last year, I did evening classes. not finding a way home. But that drove me, and till today I still have that inner drive. And when I graduated, it was 94. It was a new dispensation, and I couldn't find work because it was BEE, and I didn't technically fall under BE because I couldn't speak Xhosa. And I got to a point where I said, okay, tell me, what do you mean when you say BEE? Because I'm black. No, you must be able to speak Xhosa. You must be African black. That's another discussion on its own. Because the way I identify with myself, as I identify as a black South African and African. In any case, couldn't find work for months. Couldn't find work. Then I started the recording studio because that's all I could do then, and kept on applying for jobs for 26 years. But I became good at producing music, and I was the first black studio in the Eastern Cape, and I was successful, and I produced most of the big names that came out of the Eastern Cape, especially out of PE, and then I moved to Cape Town for better prospects in life, especially for my kids. Got here, was unemployed for 3.5 years in Cape Town. Struggled like hell. But I think what it did was it made me more determined, and because I'm the type of person that adversity makes me stronger, adversity makes me strive more. Eventually, I went for an interview at Via Africa.
Sure.
And I was the most broken in my life. It was the lowest point in my life, the most insignificant moment in my life. But I went in there and I just switched on this person.
Sure.
In hindsight, when I spoke to my boss afterwards, I asked her, that day when you saw me, the first day you met me, what did you think? Because that day I felt like a loser. She said, that day when you came in here, we knew you were the right person for the job. I was a wild card with no experience in publishing and any of those things, never read a book in my life, right? But I was an entrepreneur and I had that skill. And part of being an entrepreneur is you can't give up. You can't afford to give up because every day you need to eat, and I had a family. So long story short, this is how I ended at Via Africa, and as a key account manager. And I'm now with Via Africa for 6 years, and that's my journey.
Yeah. So when
don't cry.
No, well, look, I won't lie. It's definitely a heartfelt story that it speaks to I think your character as well, and just the drive you have. When you got to Via Africa, what was the position you applied for?
Okay, so that's a funny story, right?
Yeah.
So I was on every job portal, registered on every job portal. So every day I would get notifications, right?
Yeah.
Man, I applied for a doctor's position. I just, at one stage, I applied for a position where you had to go and assist in a mortuary, and part of it was to go and pick up dead bodies, like accident sites, pick up body parts, help with autopsies and stuff like that. And the spin-off was that they would send you for forensic training free of charge because I just needed to do something, right? And every time I would get a notification, I wouldn't even look at it. I would just press apply, because my CV was in the system, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't even know about Via Africa, who Via Africa is, what Via Africa does. I just saw something and I clicked on it. And I think it was for a sales rep.
Sure.
Click on it. And then one day I get a phone call and the line is scratchy and I can't hear who it is. And it was our HR lady. Yeah. And I can't hear. And I said to her, sorry, can you maybe email me because I can't hear you? Emails me and she says, okay, can you come for an interview? And then I see the interview, it is an executive assistant, but a PA. I hadn't applied for a PA. Damn, I couldn't even, man, my spelling was so bad then, I couldn't even write anything. I could write songs, yes. Yeah. I could produce songs, but I wasn't a corporate person. I never came from a corporate world whatsoever. 20 odd years of my life was in being in a creative environment, creative industries and producing things. and I don't know how to speak this lingo, the corporate lingo. And the day I had to go for the interview, the morning, I changed my mind because I'm thinking I'm gonna blow it because I can't even type an agenda, let alone take minutes, because it says there, right?
Yeah.
But I never had I never had the luxury of saying no because I was unemployed for so long. And I called my wife and I said, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to, because I felt like a failure then already. So I don't want to go there and fail again. You know what I mean? Any case, I went, in any case, put on Vincent, went there. And when I got there, the first person I met was Naomi. And Naomi had a smile that made me feel so welcome and comfortable and confident. That Vincent, the same Vincent switched on. And I walked in there and I nailed the interview, right? I nailed the interview. And at the end of the interview, they said, the CEO asked me a question. She says, do you have any questions? I said, no. I said, okay, I've got one question. I said, man, sorry, I can't remember applying for this position. I don't know why you interviewed me for this position because, and then they all bursted laughing and they said, no, we know you didn't apply for it.
Oh, wow.
But we just wanted to meet you because there was something about you that we wanted to meet.
Sure.
And she said, okay, I know that you applied for the rep job, but we will call you back for an interview. And I thought, it's one of those things, I've heard it before, been there. Don't call me, I will call you, And then eventually they called me back for the rep job. But they could see that I was more senior at that point in time because I had managed a lot of big projects already in my life. And that's how I ended up as a key account manager at Via Africa.
That's crazy. So how was the transition? Because I can imagine that first year alone was quite a whirlwind because you're in a creative space. In a sense, you kind of manage your own time in all likelihood. Now you're in a corporate space. How was that first year?
So I had to quantify, for instance, if I had to put down like I would do like a massive music festival of millions of rands of budgets. I had to quantify that now into a corporate term, and I had to put all of those things. So I had to create myself in that, get the right terms when I speak to the person. So I created this person. I had to create this person, that whole thing of, Madam, just take me the way I am now. That doesn't work. Because I'm driven, I realized I was a square peg that I wanted to put in this round hole, and it wasn't going to work. So I had to, chop off my edges to make myself round, and I had to learn this lingo. And being in that environment, there were many days I felt like stupid. There were many days I felt like, what the hell am I doing here? I felt like I'm doing things wrong. But I can tell you this now, within the first 4 days after my training, I landed one of the biggest sales ever in the company. And that made me realize, no,
It's space.
Yes, you see what I learned was all the years of struggle has made me and prepared me to be the right person for the right job. I just didn't know it. One of those things where preparation meets opportunity. So what I did prior to that was prepare myself, prepare my skills, package myself in a certain way, because that sometimes is the missing link. You have everything, but it's not packaged the right way. You know what I mean? It's like, for instance, say you are Xhosa speaking, right? But you are going for an English job where you are interviewed in English, where the communication will be in English, but your English isn't good, and you suck speaking. But you don't suck having the skills and the knowledge. True. But you suck. Do you understand what I mean? And immediately you are discredited or disqualified because of that. So in essence, what I did was learn to speak Xhosa. Sure. Even a little bit, but just to learn to understand to understand the question that's been asked so that I can answer it correctly. You know what I mean? So that in a nutshell basically is how I felt. And I still do it. I until maybe 2 years ago, I was still checking. What am I doing here? Oh, I know I'm excelling. I know I'm excelling. I know I'm excelling. Even my boss said to me one day, she said, Vincent, you need to believe in yourself more because you are a good worker. You have what it takes. I just every time I had to just make sure, am I still fitting this not mold? Am I relevant to what is required of me? Because being an artist, being creative, it's very easy for you to become that person because creative people lose track of time, space, and where they are at because you can sit and create all day and not make money and you're happy. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a normal person would be working for 8 hours and know that at the end of the month he's getting paid so that he can pay the bills. So I try to have that paradigm shift of, dude, you're not an artist anymore. You're not a creative director anymore. You are a guy now in corporate. You are having to contribute. You're going to have to prove to them that you are worthy of their investment in you. And the reward for that is being able to afford a home one day and put your kids through schooling. So I had to have the paradigm shift. So now I'm that person so much so that the creative side of me is like weird thinking about it. And yet I did it for about 30 years. You know what I mean? So I had to become the person that I am now, and I am still becoming. And truth be told, I think we will only become the day we die because we are always still trying to find out who we are, what we're doing, and what are we supposed to be doing, and are we doing what we are supposed to be doing.
Do you would you say, like, I mean, given your creative side, would you say that also kind of you molded whatever you learned creatively, or whatever you picked up from a creative space, you molded that into your corporate? Would you say that gave you a bit of an edge as opposed to everyone else that works in a similar space as you?
Okay, so from the onset, when somebody hears you come from a creative environment, they kind of think like you are challenged. You aren't intelligent. You are self-absorbed in your own little world. You can't think out of the box. But creative people are the biggest problem solvers. And if you look at the 21st century skills to have, the top one is creativity. Because we can creatively look at a problem that others can't see the solution. We will see the solution just like that. And that is, if I can use the word, my success and my success story, it's exactly that. If you ask my boss today, give me one statement about Vincent, she'll tell you, Vincent does not give up. Vincent does not take no. And it's because if I can't get through the door, I look for a window. If I can't find a window, I will chop a hole in the wall. Because that is where I come from as an entrepreneur. That's where I come from as a creative person. You know what I mean? So a lot of the things that I did creatively, it has helped me. Working with people. One of my biggest trademarks in my provinces, if you must speak to the people I deal with, and the people I deal with, and I'm saying it as humble as I can, the people I deal with are senior people in the industry, top people, and I get along with them like crazy. I mean, we speak a lot of nonsense at times, but I get the job done. So I learned how to people skills, and the people skills is I treat the person making the tea and the coffee the same way as I treat the CEO. I give them the same level of respect. I will make a cup of coffee for the sweeper and for the CEO because that's who I am as a person. Because I've learned to interact with people, different walks of life, and I've learned that a millionaire is no different to a bum on the street. So that's one of my strengths that I've learned in the creative coaching. But remember something, look at the creative space. You find white, black, Chinese, everyone on the same platform. And yet at the same time, you find a guy that has broken shoes playing a guitar, and you find somebody who comes from Bishop's Court playing a piano. But the guy playing the piano doesn't feel more superior over the guy with the broken shoes playing the guitar. They're making one sound. And so that is where I come from. So yes, I've taken a lot of the creative side of me that I inject into what I'm doing now. Hence, I think differently. And that is why I was employed. It was to think differently, to come up with a different approach, because everybody had the same approach and it didn't yield maybe what they wanted to. They wanted somebody to think out of the box. They wanted somebody to challenge. They wanted somebody that could say, I heard the no, but let's try this. I come out of an environment where I hug everybody. You know, when I started in corporate, people thought I was mad. They would run away from me. They would run away from me. Like before COVID.
Yeah.
They would run away. They would run away from me because they would find it very weird. And then one day my boss called me in and said to me, Vincent, I like what you bring to the table. You challenge people, because what that does, it brings about teamwork.
True.
And not you working in your own little space and exactly. So yeah, being a creative person has really helped me, and obviously it will always be there. What I had to do was just always check and align and realign my creative background with the corporate background so that it could think and make sense.
Makes sense. So you applied for the sales rep job. You got that. How long before that? How long within that did you then? I'm assuming you got promoted to a key account. So what was the journey between?
No. At that point in time, the company was going through a process of restructuring.
Yeah.
And the reason for that was because we were positioning ourselves more towards the digital side of education.
Sure.
And if you look at the entire Media 24 company as a whole, we are all moving towards digital, and that was foresight. If you're looking now, I don't know if you've seen any promotional stuff from MTN lately. TVs are all going digital now. So they're doing away with the old TVs, and they're going to give you a box to convert your TV to a digital format, right? So that I think that was maybe the brief before. So we as a company went through that, and we wanted to get people of that caliber that would run. I think with that in mind, digital education and bringing a new freshness to the education space. And little did I know that they were actually looking for a sales manager, and not just a sales rep.
Yeah.
And they could see the management qualities in me, although I didn't know that. I didn't even ask. I was, just to be very honest, I was just too grateful to get an interview. As a matter of fact, I walked out of the interview like I got the job, because I was so happy. Just that, because I applied for more than 1,000 jobs and only got about 5 interviews. So every interview was a victory for me. So that is where I was at. And obviously, in the interview, they could pick up that I fitted the spec of a sales manager working in the provinces, because also one of the biggest things that I had in the creative field was a very strong network. And I always had this policy: you are only as big as your network. And my network was vast, it was strong. I'm talking about like an international network where I know big international names.
Yeah.
So they knew that I would be able to interact with people in a high authority. So that position was already crafted. I just fitted it when I went for the interview. So that's basically how I ended up where. So I started as a key account manager and still am.
Makes sense. And for someone who doesn't know what what your job entails, how would you give a brief summary of what your job entails as a key accounts manager?
Okay. So basically, a key account manager per se is just looking after your key clients, right? Making sure that they are happy, building your relationship, maintaining the relationship, and the reason for that is so that you can get sales from them, obviously, so that you can upsell. In other words, they bought something from you last year, you keep on building that relationship, a new product comes, you pitch it and they buy, so you upsell in that relationship all the time. And then thirdly is you get new prospective clients. So that's in a nutshell what a key account manager does. I think overall in a broader spectrum it would fall under sales and or sales and marketing, because that's what I studied. So I got a national diploma in sales and marketing. So some companies call it a business, not a business advisor, a new business development person. Basically, getting business for the company. So in a nutshell, that is what I do as a key account manager. I get business for the company. I look after my clients. I make sure that they're happy. I make sure that I understand their needs, their wants, their buying patterns, what is important to them, what influences them, so that when they start doing the budget, they have me in mind. We are there for consultation if they need anything business related. So that, in a nutshell, is what I do as a key account manager.
So anyone, what would you say, man, to anyone who's actually studying marketing or actually wants to take the same path you want? What would you advise?
Okay, so first of all, marketing. Marketing, in a nutshell, is in definition, the activities which regulates the flow of goods. That's what I learned in my marketing 1 in 1989. Hey, flow of goods from the producer to the consumer. Right. So there, you produce something. There's a market. So the marketing is the driving force, the thing that drives the product to the market. Right. Advertising, promotions, sales, point of sales, all of those things. So you don't even have to go and study that. First of all, right?
Okay.
You should, yeah. If you're a people's person, it's a good start. It's a good start. If you're a likable person, it's even better, because all you need to do is be able to interact. I always say this, and I still maintain this. What is the worst thing that a salesperson can do? Oversell a product, right? But if you build a relationship with somebody, it's easy for you to say, just look here, just check this thing out. Wow, isn't it awesome? How much is it? No. Okay, they'll buy it out of relationship, and they'll keep on buying out the relationship. If you're one of those guys who pick up the phone and say, "Hi, Mr. Fraser, this is whatever. I'm selling this," and the other, the guy will put the phone down in your ear. Or if you want it, you'll buy it once, but never again.
Yeah.
But when you can build a relationship with somebody, they will keep on buying. So, key is, if you have a good personality, that is where it starts, right?
Sure.
If it is with a sales environment, again, you don't have to go to school. It just makes it better in terms of, it will help you, obviously, when you're looking at where you start in terms of, management or junior or salary bracket and so on. But whether you be behind the counter selling samosas, right? You can pick up those guys who got that relationship, with a car guard. A car guard, you get those people that only wanted one car guard to look after their car, because he's a people person. So that is the first and foremost thing that I think that you should have, because once you have that, you can sell anything.
Yeah.
A product is just a product, and I would say this to somebody. First of all, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Remember, you can do anything you want to do. A simple thing is, if you expose yourself or if you are exposed to environment long enough, you will be able to do the most basic things just by observation. So that is where somebody starts. And I mean, I've got a friend back in PE. This guy worked for Edgar's.
Sure.
So he always had a style and, then guy. But he was ambitious. And you know what he did in December? This guy comes from the township, right? He was not broke, but you know what I mean. We all lived like, and not even hand to mouth. We lived for our parents. A car, you'd hire a car, a convertible BMW, right? You spend his bonus on renting a BMW, and he'll drive through some strand with his BMW and some of his friends and some of the girls in the back of the car. And everybody would turn their head because it would be like that, right? And he'd be driving slowly. And he created the impression of success. And I also believe in this whole fake it until you make it. This guy today is one of the most wealthiest young guys. Okay, I'm not young anymore, but I consider myself. In Port Elizabeth, he owns a newspaper. He owns the biggest IT company. He owns Vodacom stores with no education.
True.
No education, right? So you can become anything you want as long as you, first of all, I know this sounds cliche, believe in yourself. Don't let other people tell you can't do it. You can do it.
Sure.
And that's what I would tell anybody in any job. Believe in yourself and purpose to do it.
Yeah. But funny enough, like it's actually the most cliche things because if you realize most cliche things are reiterated through time. So that means something is absolutely working. You know what I mean? Like if too many people are actually reiterating the same thing, something is working. So that's to someone that's actually looking to get in. Now let's someone who's actually maybe 2 years into their career, who's on a similar path as you. What would you advise them in terms of how to grow? You know what I mean, in whatever space they in?
There are two ways of getting your boss's attention. Number one is you tell on all your other coworkers. You run to the boss and you go tell every story. Oh, your maker did this and the other, and that's how you get your boss attention. Or you excel in your business. You achieve goals. So our company has goals and objectives, but I have my own goals, my personal goals that I set for myself, that I don't need my boss. So the type of work I do, I don't get told what to do. I'm expected to know what to do. So I set my own personal goals and I achieve. And when you can do that, you see, I've read it somewhere.
Sure.
When somebody gives you a salary, they don't just give you a means to buy bread, they give you dignity. And that is what I have. So I run with that, in my heart, in my head is still, if I didn't work, I don't want to get paid. Right? Because that's where I come from as an entrepreneur. If you don't work, no pay. So I work hard because I wanted to prove to myself things. So I will make the calls, I will set up the meetings, even though my boss doesn't tell me that. She just sees it in my report and go, wow, Vincent, I can't believe what you are doing. So that's the best way to get noticed. And then obviously, when you get noticed, when the time comes for promotion, it will happen. But also, never give up. Sometimes things don't come immediately.
Sure.
I think one of the most devastating things is when you know that you've worked hard, you deserved it, and it doesn't come to you. Don't give up. You are in control of your own destiny. You know what I mean? You keep on pushing. Because remember something. Even in your work environment, your competitors notices you. Not that but your competitors notices you. So your promotion might not even be with your company.
Sure.
I'm not saying just jump ship. I'm saying have integrity, but your promotion might come from another company seeing your tenacity and your work ethic.
True. And just on that note, man, speaking of growth and promotion, I think one of the most, I would say, one of the most fickle conversation people either dread or fear is or never actually really talk about, which I really feel that, as young people that are either going to be going into corporate or as young people that are in corporate itself, is the question of how would you advise on someone asking for a raise and that having that conversation with the manager? How would you yeah? How would
Asking for a raise. Asking for a raise.
Yes.
Asking a raise.
Yes, is it raise? Because I feel like that's one thing I feel like is not really shine light upon really, as much as it should be, because yes, you find, like you said, you find that you feel maybe you've been working hard, or you're at a point where you just either like to bring the conversation to the table or just start it. How would you best advise someone to best?
Okay, first of all, I want to say getting a raise is a privilege. It isn't something that you're entitled. You earn it.
Sure.
Then I want to say this: live by the principle that I live by. Shut up. Don't tell me. Show me. So, you see, you can go and ask for a raise and you'll be met with either a yes or a no or a strong no. But if you shut up and just keep on doing, they will see it. So you can get a raise or you can get an adjustment. And an adjustment is far better than a raise, because a raise is just, what is the percentage? Okay, 0 to 5%, and that's what you'll get. Then you get taxed on it, so it's nothing. An adjustment is monitoring you and what you do and how far you've grown from year to year, and that is where the promotion comes in. That then becomes an adjustment, because with the promotion comes a different job title, the different income bracket. So one thing that I've learned is I will never go and ask. I will never go and ask for a raise.
Yeah.
Simply because being self-employed for 26 years, I could never ask myself for a raise. And I can't do that. But what I do know is that when you work hard, people notice it. And again, I want to say this. It could be that your boss will give you a justifiable raise. Remember, a raise isn't just given just based on any discretion. There's a formula in the background that they have to give you a raise, and that's why you have your KPAs or KPIs, and it must fit in there, right? But I would rather say to somebody, try and move towards an adjustment kind of scenario. And why I'm saying that is because that could either be a promotion or it could be you being headhunted. Right? So this is what I do. I'm a firm believer in God, right? So when I say that, I work as if I'm working for no matter who it is I'm working for or where I'm working. I give my best.
Sure.
And I don't do it because I want a promotion. I don't do it because I want more money. I don't do it. I do that because I feel that I'm serving the company that I'm employed for, because it comes from serving the God that I serve. So I believe also that promotion comes from God, right? So I believe that nothing that I do goes unnoticed by God. It can seriously get unnoticed by my boss, and it will frustrate you. But I do believe that promotion comes from God, whether it be that you will get that extra 2,000 Rand a month that you deserve in terms of an increase, or a promotion, or another company sees you and buys you. And I'm telling you this now, I'm going to use an example. I'm trying to put it in a way that I don't expose. My daughter was working. My daughter just finished varsity, so she's fresh off varsity. She doesn't have a lot of work experience. And the company now exploits her because she comes in there with honors, but she doesn't have job experience. So they started her off as an intern. And then they graduated from an intern, they don't appoint her, They graduated from an intern to a contract worker. So you know how it goes, right? You go from 2 rand to 3 rand, not from 2 rand to 50 rand, based on your qualifications. So they know how to do it because this is what corporate does, right? And you know, my daughter did it, and I said to her, I was upset because we come from the same industry.
Sure.
I was upset, and I said to her, "You just do your best there. You work you work like it's the best job ever." I'm not lying to you. Within a matter of 3 months later, she got offered the job in a senior position with a proper title and got paid 3-4 times more than she got paid there. So much so that when she left there, her general manager, her MD, was embarrassed that she was going to leave because she went to a competitor, right? And they saw how little they paid her. He was so embarrassed. He even said it. He said, now they all are going to see how little I paid you. So that is what I'm trying to say, you know, is your promotion might not come from your own company. It can come from anywhere else, but you work and you give your best always.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense. So it's COVID, man. It's COVID time. I feel like that was quite a spanner in terms of, you know, I mean, everyone, in terms of most industries, in terms of how we work. How would you say it's affected how you work now, as opposed to before? What adjustments have you made? What are the positive? What has it given to you?
Me as a person, it's easier to answer that because our company has adapted to it. You know, us working from home, so it's no different. I still get to see my clients regularly, telephonically, via online virtual meetings. But I think, in general, for those out there who are either self-employed or are not by the means, or the younger ones, you know, as a people, we are resilient. Naturally, we are resilient. And we will survive because we are resilient. You know, I always say this, man, invent yourself, reinvent yourself, rediscover yourself, repurpose yourself. Do whatever it takes to get it. You see, in anything and in everything, there poses an opportunity. But you must be able to see the opportunity. A simple thing, COVID, right? Everybody's without work. But there are people thriving selling masks.
True.
And lotions, even fake. Do you understand what I mean?
I hear you.
So in any adversity, we are resilient enough to get through it. We just need to look for that open door, or create that door, or look for an open window, or create that window, or break the wall. Because something that I've learned, and the reason why I applied for those jobs when I was unemployed, was the emotion of hunger. And I'm saying this because there were days we were hungry as a family. The emotion of hunger was greater than the emotion of embarrassment.
True.
To be seen going to work at ShopRite, you save. To be seen going to go and pick up bodies. To be seen going for a job, even though I have a qualification and all these years, 30 years of experience, going for a job that pays 4,000 rand a month. my transport to the place is more than 4,000 rand a month. But the emotion of hunger was bigger than that, and that is why I was prepared to do those things. So in the same way also, you know, you look at life, and even if you can knock at the house next door, you never know where you will see a door open. The reality of the matter is, if you are going to sit and wait for doors to open, nobody knows that you are knocking, because you aren't knocking. And the door can only open or close or stay closed if you knock. It's not going to just swing open by itself. So no matter what happens, no matter where you are, first of all, you have life. And if you have life, you have a lot. Never give up and always know this. Now is temporary. Now is temporary. It's not permanent. It can change and it will change. I tell myself that all the time. I had to do self talk. I went mad at, I thought I went mad at one time, but I had to, because nobody else could tell it to me. And as a father, and as a husband, and as a leader in my home, I couldn't show those emotions. I couldn't show how broken I was. I would get up in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, go into my lounge, take a pillow, push it in my face, and just scream and cry. So that I could be strong the morning they wake up because my kids need to go to school. There must be lunch. I must take my wife to work. Coming back and getting stuck with petrol. You know, so these are the things that can either kill you, but it can also make you strong. And that's what I'm saying is just remember, you are resilient.
True.
And you can get through this. You will get through it, and it's not permanent. It will pass.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What have you like throughout your, throughout your life and just even career? I wouldn't say, I don't like using the word role models. Mentors or anyone that you really look to really, shape for your career path and just like, and what role has that played in?
I still have role models. I still have role models because it takes a community to raise a kid.
Sure.
So in business, same thing also. I would appoint people and I would ask questions, and until now, I'm turning 52 this month. So I'm a bit old now to stand on my own 2 feet. It's now my turn to be role models to the others who are up and coming. But yes, I had to employ role models in my life to fix me. I can use it like that, to fix me and to set me on the right path.
Looking forward for you, what's the journey ahead?
The journey ahead is, when I was younger, I would admire guys who had money, like, or that type of success or that definition.
Yeah.
Going forward, what impresses me are people who have peace and happiness. And that is what I strive towards right now. That 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 expensive thing that I bought 6 years ago and is still in the house, for instance, doesn't have the value anymore. I place value in other things. I place value in my kids. I place value in happiness, their happiness, my happiness. I place value in family. And so going forward in terms of career wise, it's just to be content and just to be happy, and to be happy at work, in my work, and to add value. And after this employment with my current company, I don't know how it works when you retire. You probably have to retire. It will be the next chapter in my life. I'm never going to stop working. It will be the next thing because it's in me already to work and to add value. So that's basically where I am right now. At first I was young, then I got older, then I was young at heart, and still until recently still young at heart, and now I'm at a point where I'm realizing I think I keep me young now. So it's like, dude, yes, that pants, that skinny pants, it looks cool, but just look at the stomach above that skinny pants. Yeah, break away. See them for your makeup. So that is where I'm at right now.
Oh, man. No, man, I want to thank you, man, because I think more than anything, I'm certainly inspired of the session we just had, because I think it speaks to your drive. I'm not surprised when you say looking ahead, you don't think you'll really ever stop. And I think what I really liked in earlier in what you were saying is that had you not really had the frame of mind you had in terms of you going forward, regardless of what anyone or what anyone says or what else is happening in your life, you're actually going forward and you're going to make something of yourself. I don't really think teachers understand the importance of the value they have in terms of shaping mind, shaping life, because everyone is going to be as strong-minded as you are. So it's just, man, it's I just want to thank you for that and just for sharing your story in a sense. And guys are telling me, we need to the footage and time. But thank you very much, man. I just want to say thank you very much. Hopefully
it's been a joy. It's been a joy. I am quite impressed. Keep on inspiring other people.
Sure.
And you never know where you end up tomorrow. The sky is the limit. So keep on going on.
No, absolutely. So thank you very much, man.
Okay, bye. See you.